Never Change follows the 2008 class of North Meadow High, who 20 years after a tornado cut their senior year short, are forced to return to high school to finish their classes and receive their diplomas. Never Change, if anything, is a pretty original movie, but in being that, it takes on a lot of risks. Having too many characters, edgy jokes, and trusting a director with no previous feature filmmaking experience. And while I will always respect an original movie for taking chances, none of these actually pay off, and instead throw off the pacing, enjoyment watching, and even at times characterization of the movie. The film is an ensemble comedy whose cast includes a mix of C-list character actors and a few names who carry some weight. But the cast is where we run into another downside of the movie, and that is the horrible acting. 90% of the performances here feel incredibly phoned in and dry, specifically Sophia Black-D'Elia and Carmen Christopher, who look like they're being held at gunpoint to say their lines with a little bit of enthusiasm. If there is one bright spot on the cast though, it would have to be Zach Cherry, who you may recognize from Severance, and the few scenes he was in got a laugh or two from me. In an early screening of the movie, the writer and director compared it to the 1980 comedy classic Airplane, which is a pretty bold comparison considering the movies have one vastly big difference. Airplane is a funny, well-written movie, while Never Change is a painfully unfunny and poorly written movie. To say that this movie is not funny would be an understatement, as basically none of the bits or jokes that are in this movie made me even crack a smile. Some people are going to say that this film took some risky chances with its jokes, and that would be true. But my problem doesn't lie with the political correctness, but instead with the fact that most of it just isn't funny. I rarely check how much longer there is in a movie when I'm watching, but when I checked and saw that I was only half an hour into this 100-minute movie, I wanted to jump off my roof. Okay, maybe that's a bit harsh. I think the third act of the film flows much better and is a bit easier to watch than the latter half, but to say that it's a positive is just a drop of water in a gallon empty bucket. Thematically, I think this movie had a bit of potential in a what if you could do high school over again way, but it squanders that at least half interesting premise in its weak execution and wacky characterization. All in all, from the sloppily written script to bad acting and direction, this movie never really had a chance to begin with, but using that as an excuse would let them off the hook. So to sum it up, this is just a bad movie, and one of the worst I've watched this year. If you are thinking about giving this a try, I would say to approach it to your own risk. But if you are looking to throw away almost 2 hours of your time and be miserable, then this should be right up your alley. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.